Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. I hope you guys all enjoyed your 3-day weekend. We are going to be continuing our Viking study, hearing about Eric the Red's son, Leif Ericson, which his name literally means Eric's son, today. So Eric the Red and Leif Ericson are probably real people, but just so you know, they really are more connected to these Viking or Norse sagas, similar to the Aeneid and the Iliad and the Odyssey. It seems as if there's definitely truth to it, but there might be parts of it that are false because they've been really like stories that are passed down and a little bit exaggerated over time. So we know that Eric the Red traveled from Iceland to Greenland, and we are going to be hearing today about a trip further west. So here is Europe on the map. Here's Italy, where we were studying the Roman Empire. Here is Scandinavia, and over here, Iceland, which is where Eric the Red was born. Now, moving a little further west is this direction, is Greenland. Remember, those names are flipped. They're the opposite of what you would think. Iceland was very green and lush, and Greenland was very icy almost all year long. And as you can see that even in this map. Okay. We're going to be moving even further west. Let me zoom out for a minute so you can see the whole world. So or this section of the world, but Europe, moving over to Iceland, then Greenland. Further west over here is North America. Okay, so Canada and the United States. We're transitioning over to that in this next chapter today. Specifically, this area called Newfoundland, which we pronounce we pronounce it Newfoundland, but it looks like Newfound land, as in it was newly found land. Also Labrador, by the way, those are two dog breeds that are from that. So you probably think Labrador, like a Labrador retriever. So yep, they're named after those regions, but they are parts of Canada. Okay, so this is all North America here. This is a part of Canada. Greenland is also technically part of North America, also considered part of Europe a little bit as well, though. So we're transitioning over from Greenland over here to Newfoundland. I want to give you a little bit of context with the map there. So we have chapter 5 in our Vikings reader, Leif Ericson. So let's begin reading. From Greenland to Vineland. I promise to tell you what we have heard from faraway Greenland, Sigurd the storyteller smiled as he looked upon the crowd. Every face had turned his way. Ivar was sitting at Sigurd's feet. Ivar had never seen Vikings act this way at a feast. Usually, there's lots of laughter, dancing, and loud merrymaking. But when Sigurd the storyteller spoke, his listeners sat in respectful silence. Ivar wondered if he could ever be a storyteller like Sigurd. The storyteller had traveled to many lands and had known many great Viking heroes. He knew the stories of the gods and taught them to the Viking children. Let's see who this is. Vikings believed their gods lived in Asgard. Within Asgard, there were 12 kingdoms, and each important god had a home in one of them. Vikings told stories about their gods and giants, including the giant Thrym. You can see Thrym in this illustration. So and here's Tyr over here, Sif, Freya. So we'll be hearing more and more about some of the gods and goddesses. Here's Thor with his hammer and goats in this next chapter later on this week. Now, Sigurd also knew all of the great Viking poems. How could anyone have so much knowledge? Ivar marveled. Ivar promised himself he could ask Sigurd to teach him to be a storyteller. He pictured himself standing in front of his father and the other Vikings, sharing the news from faraway places while they quietly listened with great respect. Ivar's daydream was interrupted by an uncomfortable feeling. He realized that Sigurd was staring right at him. The great storyteller was talking to him. Ivar knows Greenland is at the end of the world. Stand up, Ivar. Tell me, is that true? Yes, sir. Ivar was glad he knew the answer. Everyone knows that. Sigurd smiled again. Everyone, Ivar, except those who have heard of the most recent events. For we now know that there are great lands to the west of Greenland that some Vikings have explored. Bjarni Herjolfsson, another great sailor, was the first Viking to see this new land. It happened when a great storm carried his longship far past Greenland. When the storm passed, Bjarni saw land in the distance, but he was eager to reach home, so he sailed back to Greenland, Sigurd told the crowd. When Bjarni arrived in Greenland, he told the story of what he had seen to Eric the Red and to Eric's son, Leif Ericson. The two Vikings were eager to explore this new land. Leif Ericson then bought Bjarni's longship. Leif asked his friends, who were also eager to go exploring, to be his crew. Like his father, Leif was strong and brave and loved adventure. But Leif did not have his father's hot temper. He was a calm and thoughtful young man. Although Eric the Red did not go with them, the explorers sailed to the land Bjarni had seen. They later called this land Vineland or Wineland. They chose this name because wild grapes grew there. Vineland had rich pastures and forests and plenty of animals to hunt. Leif and his crew stayed in Vineland for the winter. When spring came, they sailed back to Greenland. So, there's Eric the Red in Greenland, which is his discovery. Leif Ericson to the area that he went to, Newfoundland, which was Vineland. Says today we know that what the Vikings called Vineland is actually Newfoundland in North America. Now, on the way back to Greenland, Leif and his crew rescued Vikings who had been shipwrecked. In return, Leif was given the ship's cargo. Ever since then, Leif has been called Leif the Lucky. Sigurd put his arm around Ivar's shoulder and said, "As my longship was leaving Greenland, we saw cargo ships loading farm tools and animals. Vikings sailing those ships will soon settle in Vineland." So now you know, Ivar, Greenland is not at the end of the world. Poor the Jarl rose to speak. He held a carved rune stone high over his head. Tonight is a time of great honor. Sigurd honors us with his important news. Ivar, who worked hard at carving, honors his father with this rune stone. And so, Leif the Lucky, why was he called Leif the Lucky? He was given the cargo from certain ships when he rescued some Vikings. So, and he found this new area. He didn't completely find it, but he was one of the people to really found that land, to start it up. So we are going to be hearing a little bit more about Leif Ericson in a separate video from Story of the World. Okay, so but that will be altogether separate. This book is on Bright Thinkers, so if there's ever a time that you want to go back and read a portion, you're always welcome to do that. It's in the Vikings folder. Hope that you all enjoy, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.